Okay, I guess we are live.
Yep.
Hi everyone, can you guys just confirm quickly if you're able to hear me and see both of us? One second here. So there was, I opened the same window on YouTube and that's why the sound was echoing. But I guess now it's fine.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone, how is everyone doing? It's been a very long time since I came back on YouTube and talked to you guys. So today we're not doing anything special as such. It's more like we're just having a candid conversation with all of you, and both me and Viraj are here to basically answer all the questions that you have about TLE, about competitive programming in general, or life in general, basically. Uh, Also, the reason why we're doing this on Teachers Day and why we have like both me and Viraj here on this call is because both of us have basically contributed the maximum when it comes to the content at TLE. So when we say content, it involves both the free content that we put out on YouTube and also the content that is used in our paid courses, right? So I have been mainly looking at level 3 and 4, whereas Viraj has been mainly looking at level 1 and 2 of TLE Eliminators in terms of the paid courses. But if you look at our YouTube channel primarily, there is this CP31 sheet series that we basically run, where we share the video solutions of all the problems. That has been primarily handled by Viraj. He has led the entire effort on, first of all, getting a lot of video solutions recorded himself, and then at the same time, like coordinating with other educators and getting all the video solutions out on time. So basically, if you look at the consistency of us uploading the videos, you would see that we haven't missed any date till now. Okay, so I think that is pretty much it in terms of getting started. Maybe I think we can start with a very quick introduction of both of ourselves and tell you what all we are doing right now in life. Maybe I think we can start with Viraj. Viraj, you can tell us what all you're doing in life right now and yeah, how's it going?
All right. So, hi everyone. I am reading through the comments also. So, thank you so much. I think you guys really appreciate CP31 and what has been going so far in there. And yeah, I have been contributing really a lot there. Thanks to, of course, Priyansh and the TLE itself. So, to tell you about myself, I am an NIT Raipur graduate from Information Technology, and I graduated in a 25 batch. So there would be people in the chat probably remembering the COVID batch. I was the COVID batch. And post, I think in college, I came familiar with CP. I had some coding experience, so I started off doing a lot of CP and tried to push through ranks and stuff. And yeah, I think soon in my, I think, third year, I was into a lot of projects, into a lot of CP, and I was able to get an off-campus offer from Google. And I think I had till that area already joined TLE. So if you guys check out the courses, you will also see a lot of video solutions and a lot of inner content that was created by us. And slowly, I think it has been what, around 2.5, 3 years now. The offer that I got from Google in internship, it was really great. I came to Bangalore. I was fortunate enough to get that into a offer. And yeah, currently I think I am in Bangalore. Priyansh is also here, and we both are in Google right now. And I am in the same team as previously, and I normally contribute to all those devices that you see Google makes. So, and correlately, of course, I am there as a contributor and all the stuff that we do in TLE over here as a product manager. So, yeah, this is me. This is what we have been doing so far. And in terms of, I think, CP31 sheet, you must have seen a lot of iterations that was built on the sheet itself. And this right now is sort of the second iteration where we introduced YouTube problems up till 1900 rated. We were also able to cover all these video solutions from 800 to a lot higher rating. And I think all the beginners out there should check out these initially start ratings, at least, because we have given a lot of input, a lot of thought into creating that content in such a way so that you get all the best ideas, best explanations, and all those pushes you need to just make sure that CP is a smooth sail for you. So yeah, this is me. This is all. I think Priyansh, you can definitely introduce yourself. Although, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I think most of you already know me. My name is Priyansh. I've been in the competitive programming space for, I guess, too long now. It's been like 6 years since I started doing competitive programming, and it's been almost like 4.5 years since we've been running TLE Eliminators. I wouldn't say 4.5. I think it's 4 years and about 3 months now. So it's been a very long time since I've been in this space. I try my best to contribute as much as I can based on the amount of time that I get on a day-to-day basis. And in terms of what I'm doing right now, so I also work at Google at the moment. I started my career with Zomato. I worked there for about 3 months. Then I didn't really like the culture so much, so I left. And after some time, I got the offer from Google, and it's been like 1 year and 5 months since I've been at Google. So professionally, I'm doing that, and of course, on the side, I try my best to contribute as much as I can to TLE Eliminators. I am not really, contributing a lot in terms of creating videos on YouTube, but all the management that goes on behind whatever you see, somehow, I am involved in almost everything. So that's been my role, and I mean, that's how it is going to be going forward as well. I don't really look at specific details at TLE where I am recording content or I'm selecting the problems now, but if you look at the journey, maybe like 3 years earlier, everything, every minute detail I was involved in. So right now the team has also evolved quite a bit. We have a couple of people who are leading, domains inside TLE. So I don't have to look at every minute detail, and these people are able to handle most of the things by themselves, for which I'm actually very, very grateful. Right, Viraj is one of them. We have a person in the tech team who's just who has been leading the entire tech at TLE for about 2.5 years now. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm doing these days. I don't get a lot of time these days to look at TLE, but I again try my best to contribute in whatever ways I can. So yeah, I think that sets up the introduction part. We can now maybe start with answering some questions that people have in the chat. I see most of you are wishing us happy Teachers Day, so thanks a lot for that. It's actually a privilege to be able to impart knowledge or impart education to somebody. It's a whole different privilege, right? So thanks for all the wishes, and I hope you're actually learning from us, and you're applying that in your competitive programming journey and just getting better day by day. So yeah, I think that is it. Maybe we can start picking up questions from the chat. I'll see if we have some particular questions already, and if not, we can tell you some of the things that we would want to talk about.
I think we have some questions.
Okay.
So all right, so I think this is probably one of the most general questions. I think Priyansh, you can take this. So somebody has said, I am in my, I'll ping this out, the comment for you guys. Somebody has said, I am in my first semester where I am addicted to code forces and CP in general. But my classmates are not doing it, or I don't feel like that a lot, and they're learning web development instead, or DSA instead in some cases. And is that right? So should I be on that particular journey? How will that help me? I think this is primarily the doubt here. So yeah.
So first of all, I want to point out that starting competitive programming in the first year is sort of like the best decision that you can make for yourself, right? I also started doing competitive programming in my first year, and the whole idea behind doing better at becoming better at competitive programming is all about starting as early as you can, right? So even if you look at all of these competitions that are happening these days, like the ICPC World Finals just took place yesterday, People who are doing amazingly well in these contests are not people who started doing competitive programming 1 year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, or maybe like 3 years ago, right? These are people who have been in the competitive programming space for over 8 years, for example, right? So the earlier you start doing competitive programming, the better you get at it. Uh, Talking about looking at peers around yourself, so I think this is a very big concern among a lot of people, actually. People who are starting their competitive programming journey, they look around themselves, and then they see people who are making projects, who are not really interested in code forces, who are just sort of interested in doing lead code level of problems and doing standard DSA, all of which is absolutely fine. But you have to understand this aspect, that if you have picked up a field, right, if you have decided to get better at a particular skill, right, you have to spend a lot of time on it in order to actually become, let's suppose if you want to come in, let's suppose, the top 1%, or even in the top 10%, it's going to take a huge amount of time, right? So first of all, understand that, right? And the thing here is that if you look around yourself, if you see people doing something else, and then you constantly switch between different fields, you are never going to get better, or you're not going to get really good at one of them, right? And by the time you have explored, let's suppose, 10 things, and if you don't get good at any one of them, you would have spent way too much time on it, right? So my suggestion to everyone, not just doing competitive programming people, but anybody in general who's trying to get better at any skill, is to spend minimum of 6 months on it without looking at what others are doing, right? That is the bare minimum. If after 6 months you feel like, okay, it's not really enjoyable, I'm not really liking it so much, might as well switch. But you would not have the regret of not trying as hard as you would have wanted. So yeah, maybe I can look at another question from the chat.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me just check this out.
So I think I have a question somebody pointed out. Can you, Priyansh, speak on something about time management? How do you guys in general manage so many things that come to your plate, and just pulling all these things off? Nikhil has asked this. Let me pin this up for you.
Okay, I mean, so I'll be very honest about time management. I don't really manage my time that well, right? So I have like 100 different things that I have to do every single day, and it's just impossible for me to manage my time and say that, okay, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to this thing, then 3 hours to this thing. It just does not work out for me now. When I was in college, it used to be my priority that I have to attempt code forces contests, for example, and anything and everything that is happening which is clashing with the code forces contest, I would drop that. This is how I used to think about when I was in college, right? So be it code forces contests, or be it code chef contests, or be it like attempting any virtual contests, or setting up a time for practicing problems, this was like like my no negotiables, where if I knew that I have to spend 2 hours on competitive programming from this point onwards to this point onwards, I would basically avoid every single thing apart from that. So when it comes to time management, of course, when you go out, like when you get out of your college, you will have a lot more things to handle, so time management becomes all the way more difficult. But when you're in college, you have to understand that you have a lot of time. Okay, I'll be very honest about it. When you come out of your college, you'll realize that you have very less time in your life, right? So within the college itself, you have to set your priorities right. If you feel that, okay, I have to get really good at web development, then you have to spend that much time on building good projects. If you feel that, okay, I want to go for a master's, and to go for a master's, I need to have a very good CGPA in college, then you need to dedicate your time accordingly. But the whole idea behind time management is to first of all define your goals, is to first of all define what is important for you, and then just try to fill up your entire day as much as possible with that thing which is the most important for you, right? So that's how it is going to be. Like, you're going to make some sacrifices, obviously. You cannot be like, okay, I'm going to get better at 10 things simultaneously. That will never happen. So you will have to drop certain things, but that will depend on your goals, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
I'll pick up one question from the chat, maybe, and maybe Viraj, you can take it up.
Yeah. I think somebody has pointed a question to me exactly.
Okay.
about how. So I think I think I have the comment. Let me pin this. So I think this is the question that applies to most of you folks, and eventually, what is CP about, and how do we get there? So somebody asked that how do we get in Google? This He has mentioned that he's pupil on Code Forces, 3-star on Code Chef, and what is the general scene of development? So let me answer this. I think I would like to actually quote something I remember I talked to Gorish about, and I think to Priyansh also. Effectively, joining these companies or joining any company for that matter, any company that really just does good amount of work and is like your eye worthy of something you can join. Can be any number, can be any team. Uh, there is always some sort of an X factor every company looks for when they try to shortlist you out. Now this X factor, by the way, is not dependent only on CP. It is not even only dependent on development. It's just purely dependent on you being the best in what you do. And in that terms, let's say you have really strong development. So you just go there and just make out, let's say, 4 or 5 production level projects which have, let's say, nice production settings also, and you're able to bring up some audience also onto something you make and something, and not the basics one of how do we put it, like probably a e-commerce website or something. That's just the old scenery and scene that has been done, right? So something there on the extreme ends, if you do that, you're of course there. You end up maybe researching really well, and you end up, let's say, publishing 3, 4, 5 papers. So you are then the expert in whatever you do in that particular category. Or let's say you're pursuing CP, so you just start pushing ranks up to a level where you just start qualifying ICPC to above regional levels. You are there going for continentals, or if luck is there and your hard work is there, you end up going for world finals. So just doing one particular skill set and being really good at it is your X factor. And if you just bring that X factor into your resume, into yourself, then I think no particular company can just off the bat reject you, and that what happens is in companies like Google. So if you're just pupil or 3-star on Code Chef, that would be a lower barrier as compared to other people. So let's make sure that we let's say push to an even higher rating there. Or if we are going inside development, then we make sure we make the best out of it, and we get just seen. We make sure we get seen out there by the people who shortlist us. So if that is done, then no off-campus offer can stop you, and no on-campus, of course, will stop you. So you will be able to get in a lot of offers, and you will be able to get in a lot of opportunities. So yeah, I think Priyansh is, by the way, a live example of that only. So I think Priyansh, if you want to add something on this.
So ironically, my Google hiring story was really sad, to be honest. So back in my days, when I was a candidate master, or I think maybe like a master on Code Forces, they used to run this contest called Google Kickstart. It used to be a really famous contest back then. Most people right now who have just started college would not know about it, but it used to be considered really important. By important, it just simply means that if you did well in these contests, then Google used to directly invite you for interviews. So I mean, I had an example in my college itself where so usually what happens in on-campus placements is that you have a one person, one offer policy, where one person can only get an offer from one company, and once they get that offer, they are basically out of the whole placement cycle. So I had a senior in college who had got an offer from another company, and my college completely denied Google, saying that this guy cannot join you now. But this guy had I think he had under 50 rank in Google Kickstart. So Google specifically said that, what, we don't care about any of your policies. We want this guy. We want to interview him in any case, right? So that is the kind of importance that this contest used to have back then. And there was a contest in which I got global rank 6, India rank 1, and global rank 6. So that was like a huge milestone for me, and it was also a very good milestone as an Indian, because you're getting rank 6, like globally rank 6, right? So the thing here is that I was expecting Google to reach out to me by themselves because I had a very good rank. But after some time, I realized that they had cancelled the whole Google Kickstart contest altogether. So the contest itself did not exist after a point.
Makes sense.
And even after that, I ended up applying at Google off campus. All of my interviews went really very well. I got a really good feedback in all of them. And eventually what they did is that they just applied a hiring freeze. So every person who was there in the interview pipeline was automatically rejected, right? So I had to wait another year to apply again at Google and then finally get in. So for me, it was like too long of a struggle, despite being I think good enough for the interview questions at least that they ask. But in general, if you're really good at one particular thing, then everyone is going to acknowledge that. And I'm not saying that only like when you get obsessed with one company, for example, then you might face a lot of rejections or you might face a lot of like demotivation. But if you look at it as a whole scenario of how many companies might be interested in hiring you, then that number just keeps growing as you get better and better at one particular skill, right? This is what happened, by the way, with me in my Zomato's interview. When they realized that I'm an ICPC World finalist, the whole conversation just completely changed. So whenever you're able to portray something which is done by very very few people, anybody who's going to be talking to you, they're going to talk differently, is what I can tell you.
Makes sense.
So yeah.
So it boils down.
Yeah,
It's definitely that X factor. Yeah, so I think we have a really important question. I think we should acknowledge this. So Shran has asked, I've pinned this out, that no, sorry, I think Rising Star, not sure what the name. So nowadays, cheating has really increased, and increasing your own rating and all that has become really hard. I think now that AI is here, this is also coming into picture a lot. So how do we feel about that? How do we think we can perform better here, or what would be the new metrics to just capture good people?
That's a good question. I want to know your opinion on this first, Viraj. What do you think about this?
Yeah, so I'll give this factually, as far as what I have gone through, and what I see companies doing right now. Now that these AIs and all that stuff is coming into picture, it's more about, I think, Meta released something like allowing people to use AI to give their interviews in the between. And at the end of the day, this just showcases that the problems are going to become really tougher, but they're going to be more tougher on the first principles idea. So you might have the support of an AI behind you to maybe push the ratings or sit an interview and just maybe cheat the hell out of it. But if your first principles are not really clear, then I don't think you get through. That truth, I don't think changes eventually if any helper comes into picture. So as long as that doesn't change, companies will just start coping, or your environment will start coping around to make sure that you are in deep level into the concepts. And if that doesn't work out, I don't feel that this whole cheating will take any people, by the way, who do this anywhere in general. There's going to be some bar, some metric which will stop them. And yeah, that metric cannot be helped by AI or their own. Correct.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it, actually. It all revolves around first principle thinking. And like, this is a term which you might start hearing a lot more often going forward, which is first principles, right? So if you don't know about first principles, I would want you to first of all Google it. You can put it out on ChatGPT, ask it to give you examples of what exactly is first principle thinking, right? So see, eventually, when you look at from a company's perspective, right, especially like a product-based company, what do they really want? If you try to analyze that from first principles again, what they really want is smart people, right? In general, they want smart people and people who can commit to something, right? So people who are smart and people who are committed and basically dedicated to doing a particular thing. This is what they want. So if, let's suppose, you are very smart but you're not committed at executing tasks, you are not really trustworthy or you're not reliable, then you're not, like, you're as good as nothing, basically, right? And similarly, if you are really dedicated but you're not at all smart, right, so you are basically like an executor who can execute things but who can't think. So even the second category of people is like it's filled. If you go around yourself, you will see too many people in this category where they can execute things really fast, but they're not able to think about new things, or they're not able to come up with new ideas to solve certain problems. So what companies need is a combination of both. They want smart people who can think of new solutions, and committed people who, when they are given a task, they are able to actually execute it reliably, right? So now understand it from this perspective. When companies started saying that we are going to hire somebody who is really good at DSA problem solving, right? Both of these aspects came into the picture. You have to be really smart to solve problems, to solve DSA problems well, right? And at the same time, you have to be committed at doing that for a long time. Like, you cannot get good at DSA by just spending 1 month on it. I mean, of course, see, I know for a fact that if you go around in the market, you will see that people will tell you, okay, I can prepare you for a Google interview with just 1 month of time, or with just 2 months of time. And to be honest, what they're doing is that they're just trying to help you memorize the solutions of problems, right? That is not smartness. That is just about memorizing like a parrot, which is absolutely useless for a company if you look at it, right? So if you go back and see why competitive programming sort of started becoming more important in terms of getting placed, this is because when it comes to competitive programming, it's all about solving new problems, right? And you have to stay dedicated on it for a very long time to really get good at it, right? So these are both the type of values that a company wanted, and a competitive programmer sort of filled that gap, right? Now going forward, if you're saying that, you know what, I am going to cheat my way and get a really good competitive programming profile, I'm going to create a very good Codeforces rating, for example, then you are not checking any one of the boxes. You are neither smart, you're neither a good executor, right? Or like, you're not smart and you're not dedicated on anything, right? So you might get hired, maybe you might get hired, most likely you will not, but maybe you get hired, right? Within 6 months of joining the company, you will realize that, you know what, people around myself are so damn smart, I am so dumb that if I'm given a task, it's just impossible for me to execute it, right? And to be very honest, that's the worst state that you can ever be in, being hired for something that you're not good at. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. And it's going to be a very, very huge struggle. You might end up making some money initially, but probably within 1 year of your career, you would start feeling depressed. You would want to get out of it, right? So the idea here is that you want to get smart, okay, and you want to show dedication by doing something for a consistent amount of for consistently for a good amount of time, right? So right now, when you look at competitive programming, it still solves it, but the rating, the particular Codeforces rating, that the meaning of that particular rating has gone down, because nobody is going to really look at your rating and say, okay, this guy is a master on Codeforces, you know what, he's going to be really smart, dedicated, I'm going to hire them. No, that's not what is going to happen. If you show a particular rating, it just means that you are capable of showing those skills that a company wants, but eventually you will have to prove them. First of all, you will have to prove them in the interview, where you are going to be asked difficult questions. You will have to answer them on spot. And secondly, when you get hired, that is the time when you'll have to prove by actually executing, right? See, when you look at life, it's always going to be a race. Like, you're going to hear people saying that life is not a race, live it at your pace, but it's not really like that. When you get into a company, of course you will start making good money right from day one, but within a year or within maybe 2 years, you would start looking at getting promoted, right? And when things like these start coming up, it becomes impossible to show something that you're not really skilled at, right? Like, you might get hired, but nobody's going to promote you, because they're going to realize that you're really dumb, right? So it just defeats the whole purpose. If you're doing cheating, it might help you initially in the shorter run, but 2 years down the line, you would be the saddest people. Ultimately, see, what's the goal of life? You want to be happy, right? And if you get hired in a company and you're sad in a year, it just defeats the whole purpose, right? So yeah, it's just that the metric is not that important. The Codeforces rating becomes lesser and lesser important, but doing competitive programming becomes all the way more important, I feel, because this is how it basically works. If you have 100 people in a room, and 90 of them have decided to do cheating, then it becomes all the way more easier for you to get in the top 10%, right? How can you do that? By just simply not cheating and being true to the whole uh, skill that you're trying to learn. And it becomes a lot more easier to get in the top 1% as well, because 90% of the people are just they've been brainwashed to believe that they're making progress, but they're not really making any progress. Right. Let me pick up another question and see if Viraj, you can answer it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is one question. Suryansh is asking, at times I get stuck on a problem that I know I have the skill set to solve, but I am just not able to solve it in the contest. Like I get stuck on div 2A or something when I know I can solve even 1600 rated problems. So Viraj, do you have any comments on how he can improve on this?
Right. So I think pressure handling is one of the main ideas here. What happens during contest and what doesn't happen during contest. I think all of these you guys on the chat have gone through some or the other competitive exam in your life probably. If you guys have went through the college phase, somebody gives JEE, somebody gives NEET and everything. So that one day of performance and that one time peak of performance just matters a lot. And at that time, if pressure builds up, this of course happens, that I would have solved this question if this was not a contest, but yeah, it did not work out that way. So I mean, I don't have any like a hypothetical sort of advice here. It's just pure things that I remember I used to do to just make sure I'm more calm. I'm not sure how many of you are aware. There is something called as virtual participation on Codeforces specifically, and then just it's more about creating that environment somewhere or the other for you before the contest or during times when you're not exactly in the contest, so that you just go through that phase a lot, timing yourself into conditions where you sit for 2 hours and how many problems do you solve. Or let's say in this case, let's say you're stuck at div 2A, so just making sure that you rip up 6 7 problems of div 2A only, and you just try to time yourself of how many can you solve within 1 hour or 2 hours. So just making that virtual environment around you and just going through that helps a lot. I feel all my people that I've talked to, people who have pushed to candid master, and even after that, virtual participation, virtual contest giving is probably, I think, one of the top ways I've heard about how everybody handles pressure during a live contest. So that is something I think you guys can try out. That is something I have my opinion as. Priyansh, if you can add something.
No, I think you've pretty much answered it. Virtual contest is again the best thing that could have happened. You should attempt virtual contests if you feel that you're not performing as well as you would have wanted in an actual contest, right? So make sure you're attempting virtual contests and don't cheat in that, because when you're attempting a virtual contest, you might have that feeling, okay, I might just go and look at the editorial and try to solve the problem. Then it just again defeats the whole purpose. Right? So yeah, I'm not going to give you a more philosophical answer, but I can go a lot deeper into this as well. Although I don't want to do that, because that will be just me talking too much.
Okay, so I think I can see a question for you. So I think we can cover this really, really quickly. Just helps a lot of people. Why don't we teach in Hindi for better reach? Do you want to comment here?
I'm not really sure if teaching in Hindi would get us better reach. So first thing here is that if you are a Hindi speaking person, for example, or if you are, let's suppose, a different language, like you have a different language as your mother tongue, ultimately you're going to be solving problems on Codeforces, CodeChef, and all of these platforms in English, right? The problem statements in both online contests and offline contests are going to be given to you in English, right? I mean, it's just easier to process everything when there is a common language which is English for everyone, right? So firstly that, and secondly, so when I started TLE Eliminators, or like not really TLE Eliminators, but my own YouTube channel, right? So the reason why I started doing it is to just basically improve my communication skills, right? So I'm not going to give you a very deep answer to why we use English. It's simply because I wanted to improve my communication skills. So I started teaching, or creating videos in English, and after that I just got really comfortable in English. People appreciated that, and uh, the fact that so how it really works is that most people who can speak Hindi can also speak English. Let's be honest about that, right? Most people who can speak Hindi can also speak English, but most people who speak a different language, like not Hindi, they cannot speak Hindi. That's the whole idea here. The
Makes
number of
sense.
people who speak, let's suppose any other language, like maybe Kannada, for example, right? We are in Bangalore here, so people here speak Kannada. So the number of people who speak Kannada and the number of people who speak English, like basically the number of Kannada speaking people who can speak English is going to be high compared to the number of Kannada speaking people who can speak Hindi, right? So in general, like English is just easier, to consume for almost everyone, which is the main reason, right? And of course, like when you speak Hindi and somebody else also speaks Hindi, you connect better. It does happen, but I mean that's the trade-off.
Yeah, great. Following up on this thing that you mentioned, just improving your communication. I think back improving communication. Just I'm not sure you guys can comment in the chat. How many ICPC World finalists do you know who have this level of communication that Priyansh just showcases on day-to-day basis? I don't think you will find many. And I think we can move on to a really good question somebody has put up. So yesterday in ICPC World finalists, again India did not get a medal. So, what do you think are the things we need to consistently get medals in, ICBC World Finals? And what's your opinion? I think Priyansh, you can definitely talk about this.
Yeah, so this is actually a difficult question, to be very honest. Why does India not win medals at ICPC, right? So the obvious answer, is that we have an awareness problem. We don't have a skill problem. Like people say something like skill issue, right? We don't have a skill issue. We have an awareness problem, where we know for a fact that if, let's suppose, in like if people started doing competitive programming right in their school time, for example in class 6th or in class 7th, by the time that they get to college, they would have already spent what, like 8 years on competitive programming, right? And then when they enter college and they make a team with other people who have had that much experience in competitive programming, I am absolutely sure that we would be doing at par with all the Russian teams or the Chinese teams, or might be even better, right? The only problem that we have in India when it comes to ICPC is the awareness factor, right? Where people who have the potential of doing really well at ICPC, they don't get to know about competitive programming at an early age, right? I'll talk about my own example. I went to ICPC World Finals and we had a terrible rank, right? We had a rank of 94. And we were the last team to qualify from India. As in, there were 14 teams from Asia West region. Out of those 14 teams, whichever of these teams were Indian, we were the last team among those for qualifying for ICPC World Finals, right? So we were the most terrible team, if you look at it that way. We were the most terrible team in terms of all the Indian teams that went to ICPC World Finals, right? And we got a rank of about I think 93 or 94, right? So if you look at the age of, or not the age, but the amount of time that my team had spent in competitive programming, so I had spent close to 3 years, right? I had a teammate Parth who had spent close to 4 years, because I mean basically both me and Parth spent around 4 years. We started doing competitive programming right in the first year of college, right? And then there was another teammate of ours who was Gaurav. His name was Gaurav, and he had spent close to 6 years. Like he started doing competitive programming by the end of class 10th or maybe at the beginning of class 11th, right? This was the amount of time that we had spent ourselves, right? Now, when we went to ICPC World Finals and when we talked to the people who were representing other countries or other colleges, we realized that, out of the 3 people that were representing, almost all of them had like 6 years or, like 8 years of experience in competitive programming. Most of them were already grandmasters, right? So, like in terms of the rating on Code Forces, which was very important back then, I was a master, Parth was a candidate master, and Gaurav was also a candidate master, right? So our average team rating was about 2000 on Code Forces. If you compare it to the other teams who were representing the other countries, they easily had an average rating of 2400 or 2500, where at least one person was a grandmaster or an international grandmaster, and the other two people were, let's suppose, masters or grandmasters, right? So it's not like India is not able to do well because of a certain reason, because people in India are not skilled. It is simply because we haven't spent that much time on competitive programming, right? I'll give you another example, why this is absolutely true, where the amount of time you spend in competitive programming relates directly to ICPC performances. So back when I was in college, there was a team which went to ICPC World Finals from my college, and in that team was present an international grandmaster. He was, I don't know if you guys know about Hanit Banga. His Code Forces handle is Cerberus97. Cerberus97, or I'm not really sure, but Cerberus is, I think, the prefix. So if you look at his profile, he was India rank 1 at that point, right? So, and these guys had an ICPC rank of 30. They got a rank of 30. Imagine being India rank 1, right? Being an international grandmaster, and of course the other two teammates were also, like, I think one of them was international master and the other one was a master, right? Imagine a team like this getting a rank of 30, right? And when it comes to ICPC, there are only 12 medals that are there. First 4 get a gold, next 4 get a silver, and the next 4 get a bronze, right? The difference between 12 and 30 is unimaginable, right? Right now, it seems really low, that, okay, somebody's having a rank of 12, but somebody's having a rank of 30. That difference is huge. When you go and sit in that contest, right? And I really, really hope that some of you get the chance to do that. You will realize that, life is like the amount of experiences that you have had or the amount of skills that you had is absolutely nothing, right? Within India, when you look at your rating and you feel like, okay, I'm in India rank, I have an under 10 rank in India, it feels really good. But it's nothing compared to the other people, right, who have been spending 8 years, 9 years, 10 years on competitive programming. So the main problem with India is the awareness problem, where school students have to be given the awareness of what competitive programming is. And so, see, I'm absolutely sure that if you tell a school student, like, somebody who's in class 6th or class 7th, if you introduce them to programming and if you introduce them to algorithms, they're going to love it a lot more than mathematics. I can absolutely assure you of this, right? Ultimately, algorithms have mathematics at their back end, but when you introduce something like, these algorithms that exist, like Dijkstra, for example, the shortest path algorithm, or binary search, for example, right? Like when I learned about binary search for the first time, my mind was blown, absolutely, right? So when you talk about, like, when you start explaining these many concepts to these, young school students, I am absolutely sure that they're going to love it, right? Like people who are in China or people who are in Russia, they're not mad that, they're spending so much time on competitive programming. They do that because they actually love spending that much time, right? So in our case, I feel that, people in India are really very smart. If you look at people who are, appearing for IIT JEE and getting really good ranks, these are not like normal people. Okay, these are really very smart people. If you introduce them to competitive programming at an early age, I am absolutely sure that India is going to win a medal in ICPC for sure, right? So I want to also point out that, we don't have to be that hopeless at this point, because I am already seeing various institutes in India or various companies in India who are trying to, promote this competitive programming culture at the school level, right? Of course, TLE is a part of it. At TLE also, we are heavily invested in trying to improve the competitive programming culture right from the school level. But there are other companies, and at the same time, there are colleges like, I'm not sure which IIT it was, but one of the IITs recently announced that if somebody, qualifies for, I think INOI, which is the
That's
which is
IIT
the
Kanpur.
school.
IIT Kanpur took this decision.
Okay, IIT Kanpur, right? So IIT Kanpur has recently told, that we are not only going to rely on your JEE scores. If you have qualified for INOI, so what is INOI? INOI is like the, it's like ICPC regionals. If you understand ICPC, then INOI is basically like the ICPC regionals at a national level, right? So if you qualify for INOI at a school level, you directly get an admission into the computer science branch at IIT Kanpur. Right? Now that is a fabulous initiative, because that clearly states that, you know what, if you're really good at coding, if you're really good at coding by class 10th, there's no need to prepare for IIT JEE for 11th and 12th. Just get really good at competitive programming, get really good at algorithms, qualify for INO, and we have a seat reserved for you at IIT Kanpur. Right? There are other IITs who are already doing it, like IIT Gandhinagar is there. Triple IT Hyderabad also does it. My college, which is Triple IT Delhi, they also have some bonus points where they give preference to these people who are already good at coding from their school time. So we do have these initiatives coming up, and I am absolutely sure within probably the next 5 or 6 years, we are going to have a state where we have a medal which India wins at ICPC, right? So and I mean, talking about the same thing, I'm not sure if a lot of you noticed this, but on Independence Day, on the 15th of August last month, we had this initiative for the school students only. We gave out 79 free slots to the TLE Eliminators competitive programming courses to basically people who were in their school and who were interested in competitive programming, right? That was a huge initiative for us, because if you translate it to the cost of running TLE Eliminators and every enrollment that somebody, like whenever we have an enrollment at TLE, let's suppose that gives us amount X, right? When you enroll 79 people, it means that you're investing 79x without getting any return on that, right? So we did that. We tried to make sure that we are contributing as much as possible. All the things that you see on our channel, like the CP31 sheets, video solutions, the post-contest discussions, these are all a way to somehow contribute to the whole evolving CP culture in India. Right? That all of these things, they require a lot of planning, they require a lot of funds as well, right? But I mean, fortunately, most of the people here in TLE they already have a competitive programming background, so they know the importance of trying to improve this culture, right? They know that only these small steps later on will build up and will lead to really amazing results, right? So we don't have to be that hopeless. There is work going on to improve this whole arena of competitive programming, but at the same time, there is a lot of work to be done to get to where we want to reach.
Someone has said in the chat that if we start having dummy schools and quota schools on CP, so probably that's going to really help a lot and stuff. So I mean, effectively, it's just working at the root level, as I think Priyansh said and mentioned. And
I have a
I don't want to create those camps like in China, by the way. So that's not the idea effectively. But then, yeah, as you said.
Yeah, so I have actually a different opinion on like dummy schools and doing all of these things just for competitive programming. To be very honest, I don't think that is required at all.
That's going to bring this JEE-fication of this CP culture, right? Where people will end up
that's not right
on all that. So that exactly doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think Vikas has mentioned this. Correct, JEE-fication. This has been really popular with this term on LinkedIn and everywhere. That people are trying to make a JEE-fication out of this whole CP in general to just make sure people pick it up in terms of the fear of missing out or just creating that thing. So yeah, I don't think that is needed, as I think Priyansh, you also mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's more about like building a hobby for somebody. So like, I mean, this is a bit controversial, but I would want that later on when I have a child, for example, right, when I get to have a child, I would want them to at least explore all of the things that exist, right? Which clearly did not happen in my case. Like, I was in a boarding school, so I was locked into one particular area of a city. I was not given access to internet, and I had very limited access to basically information, right? So
Correct.
I would not want that to happen for, let's suppose, my child, right? Of course,
absolutely.
I would even want them to like maybe look at code forces, look at programming in general and see if they like it or not. And if they
Correct.
do, then I would want them to spend a lot of time on that.
I mean, that's the idea, right? Like you don't want to make a JEE-fication, you don't want to make a camp out of it. It's just that, so at a very crude level, at a very low level of when the mind is just developing at that particular stage, you just want to make sure that if there are 10 different domains in the market, then all 10 are present in front of the child, and then the person just picks up whatever they want to do. So now if you limit that to just making sure that I am going to just place 9 options and CP is skipped out of that paradigm, then you're just skipping out a whole hobby for a person who could have just really enjoyed that really well, right? So we're not looking for a JEE-fication, rather we're looking for awareness, just to just build up these people and make sure everybody gets to, know that, okay, what are they leaving and why are they leaving for that, and just make their own decisions really amazingly well. So
And also,
that's
like it's also about understanding that there is a return on the time that you invest on competitive programming, right? It's not like people are dumb, or people are not really they're not really aware that they're saying they're asking you to explore competitive programming. They know for a fact that once you get really good at competitive programming, the skills that you learn here, they translate into a lot of other things, right? So at the core of it, you're becoming a good problem solver, right? Problem solving does not only happen in what do you call it only does not happen on code forces or lead code. It happens in general in life, right? And especially when it comes to coding in general, right? Like when you join a company, your problem solving skills are going to be absolutely very visible. When you're given a task and you're able to come up with a solution, like you're able to come up with a very elegant solution to it in a very short amount of time, it will show that you have really good problem solving skills.
absolutely. Okay, so I think let's move on from this ICPC topic. Again, this is a lot of things you guys can yourself explore. I can see questions coming up for asking Dominator, stuff about Dominator. So, by the way, people who are not aware, Dominator 069 his real name is Shreyan. He's an amazingly talented Indian we have who is into computer programming and probably carrying a lot of pressure on his shoulders to perform well in the next ICPC. So okay, let's try to move on a little bit to the. I think we have some questions on the CP sheet. So first, somebody has asked why exactly 31 problems. Why do you think there are 31 problems, Priyansh?
So there are multiple reasons for it. One of the things is that when I started with creating this whole sheet, I did not want it to have a lot of problems, right? Like
Let me just stop you right there. Let's add one more question to it. I think we
yeah.
also have been asked, why do we not have tags in the CP sheet? Will it create a bias? Let's answer one of both of these together. So yeah.
Yeah. So talking about this number 31. So the first idea was to not have a lot of problems, right? So when you go on to the CP31 sheet, one of the things that you'll appreciate is that the concepts don't repeat. In the sense that you learn one concept in one problem, you're not going to see the same concept in another problem on the CP31 sheet. Like it might be a bit related, but it would not be exactly the same, right? So the goal of the CP31 sheet is to introduce you to as many unique ideas as possible. And at the same time, those unique ideas must be important enough, right? Like if I teach you a concept which has a probability of coming maybe once in 100 contests, right? Then there's no real value in learning about that concept. But if I tell you that learning this concept through this problem is going to like if you look at the concept which is involved in the problem, that repeats 50 times in 100 contests, or it repeats 60 times in 100 contests, then it does make sense to actually learn that concept, right? So the idea of CP31 sheet firstly was to give you like introduce you to as many unique ideas as possible, and those unique ideas which are trending, which are repeating in contests, right? So that is why the problems that we had in the sheet are all handpicked. These are not picked by an algorithm. Like we did not run any algorithm on code forces, fetching all the data and then doing some sort of algorithmic stuff and coming up with these problems. That was not the case. We came up with these problems based on like by handpicking them. So 31 was a number which sort of related to not too many and not too less, right? And at the same time, there are other two not very important reasons for the number 31. One of them is that if you look at 31, then you have roughly 30 to 31 days in a month, right? So if you look at one particular rating of the CP31 sheet, you can complete it easily within a month by just solving one problem every single day, right? That's somehow related to it. And secondly, the number 31 is also present in my code forces handle. So if you look at my code forces handle, it is Priyansh 31 DEC, 31 deck, which means that my birthday comes on 31 December, so it is present in my handle. And eventually we launched the CP31 sheet also on 31st December with 31 problems in each section, right? So that was the idea, right? We did not want to have too many problems and very few problems as well. And that's how we thought of 31. I think the other question was, why do we not have tags, right? Why do we not have tags in the CP31 sheet? So see, firstly here, what does a tag do? First of all, think about the fundamentals. What is a tag? A tag is basically telling you about the topic which is involved in the problem, right? Now, just learning about which topic is involved in a problem is absolutely useless, because ultimately it's about the smaller subtopics which are important. Like when you're doing, for example, binary search, right? Just saying binary search is used in this problem is not good enough. But if you're learning a new concept which is related to binary search being used in that problem, then that is useful, right? So and at the same time, the whole CP31 sheet is not for you to solve on your own. That's not the goal of the CP31 sheet. In fact, I would want it to be in a state where when you start attempting the CP31 sheet, you have no idea. You are not able to solve even one problem on your own. That is the best state to be in when you are attempting the CP31 sheet. Why? Because the idea of CP31 sheet is not to give you practice. It's not a practice sheet. It's a sheet to get to know about a lot of different concepts by solving minimum number of problems. Okay. So if you are somebody who is doing CP31 sheet and you're getting stuck in every single problem, that's a very good thing to have. Like that's a very good thing to happen for you. Because in that case, you will go to the video solution, you will learn about the concept, and that will just increase your overall knowledge, overall amount of concepts that you know. And yes, it is very, very similar to CSES. When you look at CSES sheet, again, it's not a practice sheet. Okay, so let me give you the difference between a practice sheet and a concepts sheet. Okay, a concepts sheet is basically for you to get to learn about a lot of different concepts by solving minimum number of problems. Whereas a practice sheet is mainly there to strengthen your knowledge on the concepts that you already know. So for example, if you know about binary search, pick up a practice sheet which has 50 problems on binary search and attempt all those 50 problems. What will happen because of this? Your idea of understanding your overall understanding of binary search will improve, right? But at the same time, if you want to get to learn about a lot of different concepts by solving minimum number of problems, your idea should be to solve your idea should be to basically pick up problems where every problem is unique, right? And which does not have repeating ideas. So when you talk about tags, tags are used as like they're good for practice. When you say that, okay, I want to get good at dynamic programming, go to code forces, put the DP tag and solve a lot of problems using that tag. What will that do? It will improve your understanding of DP. It will help you solve DP problems faster when it comes to contests, right? But that's not the goal of the CP31 sheet. We don't want you to get really, really good at DP. We don't want you to get really, really good at binary search. But we want to make sure that when you look at binary search, if there are 4 or 5 really important concepts involved, you get to explore all of them. That's the whole idea of CP31 sheet, and that's why we don't really have tags. So I also want to talk about the CP31 sheet V3 that we're working on, version 3. In that version 3, we are not bringing in tags, right? But we are bringing in the concept of telling you what idea is involved in every problem. So when you look at the CP31 sheet after it is updated, we are working on this version 3. You will see that every problem has an idea section, which tells you, okay, what is the idea involved in this problem? And that idea will not be like do dynamic programming, but that idea will be more about like, okay, try and look at how segments are, like overlapping or not. All of these type of random ideas, right? So that's the whole goal behind the sheet. And people who are actually solving it a lot, like I was looking at the leaderboard, one fine day, I could see that almost all the people who are there on the first 2 pages of the CP31 sheets leaderboard, all of them have reached expert. Right, so that's also the goal of the sheet. Like we want you to learn all the concepts that are necessary for you to get to an expert rating.
Definitely.
I hope
so,
that.
Priyansh, this question of why 31 exactly problems, can you guess who put this up? I'm not to identify this person, but have you heard of Amnik on Code Forces?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yes. So I think thanks. I think big fan, both of us probably. He's a legendary grandmaster, by the way.
This question is that an actual is that actually Amnik's account?
Could be. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm assuming we are the most positive people here, so I'm assuming all of this has gone really well, and we have
No, no,
reached the right.
I don't think this is I don't
But
think
yeah,
this is omnipotent.
great.
But,
So yeah,
but yeah,
so I
we are going to
I'm
assume that it will.
positive enough to reach out a legendary grandmaster, by the way, with what we are doing so far. So yeah. By the way, if it's a true Omnic or not, you guys can definitely check out Omnic. And okay, so let's just continue once some more points on this part that we mentioned. So by the way, guys, we are going to be launching CP sheet V3 really soon. And I'll just quickly iterate on some things that we went through, and just wanted to make sure all these things just help you guys even further in this journey. So first thing that we will be bringing for you guys is something as like a very important thing, tracking your streak, right? Everybody imagines that that lead code streak people end up doing. So this streak is something we'll try to bring for you guys. There would be like a daily streak, also like a streak of when you solve problems, and just like nice notifications to you and stuff when you're not active with us, and you're just not active in CP in general. So that might really help you. One very important factor, I think, we had a lot of feedback that you guys bookmark a lot of problems sometimes for your own practice, just to come back to the ratings and just see the correct problems themselves. So we'll have sections where you can just see the bookmarked problems, the problems you have made notes against. This is something we'll do. Thirdly, so this is not a flex in any general, but I think anybody who understands CP with us would agree. We would be bringing in all the codes in C++, Java, and Python for you guys in this this CP sheet that we have been doing so far. So all those people who get stuck around getting the right code out of finally solving, or they get stuck on I've been doing this in Python, I've been doing this in Java, how do I get this done? So this is, I think, going to be really helpful for you guys. And this is again a flex for us because competitive programming in general is really hard to do as different languages come into picture and the rating increases. You might not be able to implement a segmentary question really well in Python as you would be able to do in C++. So just getting these codes for you guys is also something we are really proud of. And we'll have hints coming, of course. So you make sure that whenever you are solving a problem, you are able to have the correct idea or a little bit of the idea before you do this. And I think something that I think Priyansh mentioned, we'll have this concept section. So nothing about tags in general, but then going ahead and giving you right, why do we pitch in the first place that these 31 problems teach you something or teach 31 new things to you? So what is that thing that we're talking about? We'll try to mention it there quickly. And yeah, and some more, I think, not to give a lot of spoiler alert, but then some more things on the way. So and there's, I think, one feature me and Priyansh are really proud of. We'll try to bring for you guys some sort of a mode for you guys to just make really well in the CP part. So yeah, I think really soon we will be launching this, probably in the next 2 or 3 days as per my estimation. So be there for this. And absolutely. So I think, yeah, this is all for CPV3. And do we want something more?
And also, like, I want to just point it out, like, a lot of people, I think, they don't already know that Viraj has been working on the CP31 sheet primarily. Like, I started this whole effort. I started by curating problems and setting up everything initially for, I think, the first 6 or 7 months. But beyond that, it has been Viraj primarily who has been making sure that this sheet stays up. We are constantly bringing in new features. We are constantly bringing in new problems. All of these things. Like, I think you all should be very thankful to Viraj here. He does it by himself. I don't even have to ask him for any updates on what is happening in CP31 sheet, and it just somehow happens. Like, talking about V3, right, version 3. I was told about version 3 almost like a week ago, and they had started working on it long back, right? So there's a lot of things that happen in the background, and like, Viraj has been contributing crazily here, especially like related to the free content that you see on our YouTube channel and also basically on the website, right? So we are planning on bringing in version 3 of CP31 sheet. But at the same time, I want to point this out as well, that CP31 sheet is not the only thing that we are working on at TLE Eliminators. Okay, we are working on new and better things which are going to be absolutely free, right? So our goal at TLE is to make sure that we have enough free resources, and at the same time we have paid courses which can drive the funds required for the free resources. Okay, so when you look at TLE Eliminators, of course we run a paid course, so we end up making some money, right? That money we are able to, like, of course we end up keeping some money. I'm not going to say that we invest all of it, invest 100% of it back into bringing in free features. That cannot happen, obviously, but we do invest a significant chunk of it in bringing in new features for you, making sure that we create a lot of content on YouTube, on our website, all of these things, right? So we do have plans on bringing in newer features, newer uh, you know uh, products altogether, which are going to be very, very helpful for you to get good at competitive programming, right? We would want to ideally launch things on like maybe 31 December itself, because we launched CP31 sheet on 31 December and it worked out really well. So maybe we launch something else as well on 31st December itself, right? So we have about 4 months, and we have a couple of really good ideas to work on, right? So we are going to be bringing in a lot more things. So don't just assume that CP31 sheet is only going to get newer and newer versions as we progress
Yeah.
forward.
I mean, people, just asking, would we get newer problems in CP sheet? So I think we're long past that race, just to get you new problems on the CP sheet in general. I think, as I think Priyansh mentioned, just wait and watch for us to bring more product verticals for you guys to, just maybe just don't expect that there is the old sheet getting updated with 1 or 2 or 5 problems more, but expect a new sheet completely that's going to tackle something totally different for you, or let's say a new whole domain differently, which is going to make sure that you just keep coming to us and just keep absorbing a lot of content and just doing really really good in life with the CP as a hobby, as a love for problem solving, right? So
And I also want to point this out that it is not just the free resources that we're working on. We are constantly, in fact, we work a lot harder in trying to improve the paid side of TLE, where we are talking about the TLE Eliminators courses, right? So we are spending a lot of time on improving those. When I say improving those, both in terms of content, in terms of the features that you get, in terms of the overall UX experience, user experience that you have on the website, all of that is constantly happening. We are investing a crazy amount of money and a crazy amount of time in doing all of these things. So even though you don't see a lot of us, like you don't see a lot of stuff from us on social media, we are working on a lot of things, right? We do believe a lot in working in silence first, and then coming out strong and releasing things when we're absolutely sure that they work very well. So while we do want to give you a lot of updates as we build things, we also want to make sure that we're not getting deviated towards just creating marketing. We want to create real products that bring real value, real impact, and when we build them, we are going to do enough marketing to promote them. Like you would see enough marketing being done on CP31, right? We do that because we know that it is helping so many people, right? So we are only going to try and market something that we know that it is going to help people, right? Otherwise, there's no sense in building something like that.
absolutely. So I think let's just take the last 10 minutes to talk about this live versus self-paced thing that has happened, and what exactly, let's just coin this term for people so people know what is something we're trying to go towards, the paid stuff and paid structure. So yeah, I think first thing that I would want to cover over here is I think right now TLE is working in a self-paced structure. If you guys are aware of, you can go check us out. When I say self-paced, that basically means we have a lot of content that is in a recorded model, and just you pay this out and you check out all the you go through the whole progress yourself, solve the questions, watch the videos, take off lectures and stuff. And this is something that was not what TLE used to do. A little back then, we used to have live stuff, but like I'll bring a statistical answer over here. Probably that will help better the case of why do we took this in general. So I feel you should look at this way. So I think we had around 800 to 900 students who registered us or used to be with us in TLE 12.0 when we were in the live model. And same was the structure again in like 2, 3, and 4 levels. And the initial phase of classes were like really well. I think I remember Priyansh, when you used to take any class, we used to have around like 300 people joining in, 200 people joining in to just attend that session. And with like all kudos to Priyansh taking that, giving the best content to every live class. Even then, we saw a drastic downfall when it comes to this live model. And just people start falling behind sometimes on their own pace and all self study. And somewhere or the other, when we did the very last classes of level 4, even for level 1, level 4, the classes that I took, the classes that Priyansh took, we had like uh, 2 or 3 people, attending these classes. So you guys can imagine statistically, if the batch started off with 800, 900 people who are registered, 300 people who are watching the session in the first half, but then 3 people who are at the end of the day with us. So this whole difference just helped us understand that it's better for us to get you the right content at your own pace, as compared to getting you the content on our pace, on some rules that we have defined for ourselves, and making sure you adhere to those. That's something that would not be right eventually. And hence I think we shifted to the self-paced model. And but progressing along that, I think we have a really nice term. I think Priyansh, you can introduce that. What exactly will self-paced be called eventually, and what are we trying to build?
Yeah, so when I talk about trying to improve the overall course, so we are trying to work on a lot of new features which are going to improve both the content consumption for you and the overall problem solving experience that you will have on the website. So first of all, I want to talk about why this whole live versus recorded thing. So I think Viraj has already pointed out some of the things here, but when it comes to live courses, we've realized one thing, which is that not everyone is as motivated as the top 1% of the students. So whenever you run a live course and you have too many people in that, like not too many in the sense, but let's suppose you have 100 people, right, in a live course, and if you know that only 2 of them are really very interested in following the course at the pace that you have decided, then it just defeats the whole purpose of having the whole live model, right? So we got this feedback from a lot of people that uh, after the first few weeks of classes they start lagging behind. Why do they start lagging behind? Because they don't have enough time to do as much stuff that is required every single day. So let's suppose we want you to spend 2 hours every single day on the course. They don't do that, and eventually they start lagging behind. And when that happens and you see that the live course is continuously progressing forward, your motivation to stay in the course drops drastically, compared to when you have a self-paced model where you have a recorded course and you can consume it at your own pace. So that was the main thing which drove us to experimenting with the recorded model. And I can tell you that when I look at the stats of course completion between live and recorded, they're not very different, right? Of course, a live model is going to have a better course completion rate than a recorded course if you look at the same set of features. But if you, let's suppose, make the recorded course really very well, you make the consumption of content really easy, solving problems really easy, all of these things, then the course completion rate in a recorded course can also be as good as a live course, right? So our idea here was to sort of experiment with the recorded course. We had already launched 12 batches in the past, all of them were live, right? And we were really scared about launching this recorded model, to be very honest, because if, let's suppose, we launch a recorded model and nobody is really interested, then nobody's going to take the course, and that just defeats the whole purpose, right? Which did not happen. We ended up having more enrollments in the recorded model than the live model itself, right? So which clearly told us that it also is a good way to sustain, and at the same time it resulted in a lower cost as well. So you might have noticed that the live courses were priced a little higher than the current recorded courses. Some of you who have already been a part of TLE would notice that. People who are new, you would not notice it. But having a recorded model also allowed us to reduce the cost, right? We are not giving the same course we are not giving a recorded course at the same cost as the live course, because it does not require that much effort. That's a very obvious thing. If I have to take a live class every single day, it's going to take a lot more efforts. So I think it's a win-win for everyone that we have this option to, get enrolled in a recorded course. But at the same time, I want to point this out that it's not the case that we have ended live courses altogether. Okay, we are going to come back and bring live courses as well. But at the same time, when we do that, we are going to have a recorded course as well, which you can consume on your own pace. Right? We want to basically serve both the type of students who want to learn. Somebody who wants to learn at our pace can take a live course. Somebody who wants to learn at their own pace can take a recorded course. Right? So we wanted to do both of these, not one of them. Which is why we have taken a pause from the live courses right now. We're trying to make the recorded course a lot better, both in terms of content and user experience. And once that happens, we are going to bring back live courses as well. Right? So you're going to have both these models. You can decide which one you want to pick up. And of course, the live course is going to be slightly higher priced than a recorded course because it just simply requires 100x more efforts, to be very honest. Right? I also want to tell you the name of the name of the final course that we are building. So we don't have a very specific timeline at the moment. We're trying to wrap it up by the end of the year, but it can get extended. We're going to be calling it something known as TLE Prime. I can maybe write it in the chat here. Right. So the word prime is basically related to two things here. Prime firstly means that it is the best so far, right? So it is going to be the best so far of what you have seen from.
So it's the best so far, definitely. Can you guys guess one? Let's put it to the comments here.
Yeah, let's put it this way. So maybe I'll ask this question.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us why it is called Prime, and you will get a free access to the current course. So I want you to guess. Why do you think we are calling it TLE Prime? Right? Of course, Prime means the best so far, and it is going to be absolutely amazing. But think about any other reason, any other elegant reason why it might be called Prime. It is the best, of course, it is going to be the best. So no doubts in that. But because you will be teaching in it, yes, I will be teaching both. Viraj will be teaching, I will be teaching. But what else? Prime numbers, that is okay. Prime numbers is one thing. So from a competitive programming perspective, prime numbers is what you should think about. Amazon Prime, okay. Okay, I think this person Chinmay has guessed it correctly. So 13 is also a prime number if you look at it, right? So we have had 12 batches of TLE Eliminators, right? And we did not launch the 13th batch, if you remember. After 12, we discontinued and we said that there is no TLE 13, there is TLE self-paced, right? And we told you guys that TLE 13 will be coming in future, right? So what TLE 13 is? TLE Prime. So Prime means the best so far. It is going to be the best going forward. And at the same time, 13 was also a prime number. So it made a lot more sense to call it TLE Prime. Yes.
I think we have Chinmay who mentioned this really clearly. I think, yeah, Chinmay, absolutely, you won. If you have the Discord handle of me or Priyansh, you can drop a DM to us. I'm assuming you don't have access to the course, and we'll make sure you get the course access. Okay, and there is a guy Nolm also. I think 31 is a prime number. I can also see Rishabh somewhere. There's a guy named Rishabh who mentioned, yeah, Rishabh Jain. So you 2-3 people, you guys are free to. Of course, you can drop a DM. I'll go through the comments once more. We don't want everyone lining up to ask for a free course, but you already have. That's so great, Chinmay. So thank you for the love that you already are sending to TLE. But then, do we have Vibhas? Anshul, if you're talking about Vibhas is back. Yes, Vibhas is really back. He'll be trying to do that. Okay. Yeah, Rishabh, if you don't have access, drop a DM. I think I saw your comment. You're fully eligible for a course, and yeah, free giveaway. That's awesome. How is it different from TLE now? Okay, so I think Likit, we missed out a little bit on this. We've already iterated. If you can go back in the live a little bit, you will get all the idea. But then I'll just drop one single comment. It's different from TLE because it's the best that we have done so far. All right. That's a simplest reason I can give for now. All right. So
31 is also a prime number, yes. So
31 is also prime
there
number.
is something really cool about this number
You being
31.
obsessed with prime numbers, right? You being obsessed with prime numbers. That is something I think is visible in the chat also. So yeah, 31 fits a lot.
Oh, we have another reason now. So this is going to be our third reason why we are calling it prime, because 31 is also a prime number, and my handle contains 31, and we have
Sankalpa
CP31
said
sheet as well.
13 is a reverse of 31 and 31 is a prime number.
Oh, we have
Okay.
so many reasons now.
All
I
right.
think
So
I think we should give this person as well a free course. Somebody who said that, what is that? 13 is reverse of 31. So not this one, but I think it was a different comment where somebody pointed out that 31 is also a prime number, right? Maybe 13 is not very obvious, where people say, okay, 13 TLE 13 unko yaad nahi hoga, but 31 is a prime number as well. So maybe
I
what's
see
this
the
person's
first
name?
comment by Nolm Fio. I'm not sure.
Something, yeah. And this person was also asking if we have, like, what kind of problems do we have in the course. So I'm assuming that this person is interested in the course, so let's also give him a free access.
Okay.
Him or
I
her,
think
I'm not sure.
Passion Record also said it according to him for the 31 part. Okay, great. So this looks really well. Do we have something more on the plate, Priyansh? Do we want to cover something more? I think we've been doing this for 120, 1 hour, 20 minutes now.
Oh, I
So
think it's been too long, but I think we should end it. And at the same time, I want to acknowledge the fact that we had so many people who attended this live session today. Uh, it really just means a lot to us. Firstly, because I have been really inactive on YouTube. I'll be honest. It's been more than a year since I came back on YouTube, and being able to see so many people who are there to like attend these sessions, it just means a lot to me personally. So yeah, thanks everyone.
all right. I'll quickly, drop out a feedback form for you guys to, just fill out any sort of things you provide us or any bugs that you think comes to us and something. So I'll do that over here in the comment section. All right. So yeah,
Also, I think it's important to call this out. So since it is Teachers' Day today, we're also running a 31% off on all the TLE courses. If you're interested, if you were planning to purchase a TLE course and get good at competitive programming, today might be a good time, because we have a 31% off running on all the CP courses at TLE, right? So yeah, I don't know
yeah,
how
again,
many times this number 31 is going to come in my life.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining with us. I am immensely grateful. I think Priyansh is immensely grateful, and on behalf of TLE, we're really happy we were able to take some of these things. I think Priyansh, we need to make this some sort of a ritual to keep coming live here and just make sure that
Yes.
everybody is just really more connected with what TLE does so far. So yeah, thank you so much. I think time to end the stream. Bye bye. Good night.